seat, mate. Thanks for coming down.
Pleasure.
Sick.
This place is amazing.
I'm just going to throw it live on Instagram because I kind of said I was going to. Whether or not that lasts or not, I'll just go here. See how it goes. Maybe like somebody can check this every now and then. Yeah? I think that's going. Oh, wait, we're on. This is live. Alright. Thanks for coming down. We're running half an hour late, but who said there's a time? There's no time here. No time, no rush. There's the lights.
It's all going on.
It's all happening.
Good space.
I like it. I never thought we'd get to this point, to be honest. This room, where it's come from, where it is now. There used to be like a sink and a bathroom, a small little toilet and bathroom behind it, and it was so grotty and run down. And
I've seen it before on your socials, and it just transformation's incredible.
I know,
here.
right?
Yeah,
We're here. So do we put these on? Yeah, I'm tipping, and that's a sound. Wow. Can you hear me? Am I meant to hear anything? Am I meant to move these? Is it? Wow.
These just make me not hear you any better.
What?
I can't exactly. They don't make me hear you any better.
I know, right?
Struggle.
Okay. Here we go. Episode 1. Brendon Davis. Thanks for coming down.
Thanks for having me, Brent.
We're here. Where did we meet?
The pool. Urban surf.
The pool.
Yeah, on the left. It's like a 4 p.m. session.
Was it?
Yeah, really nice, sunny, late arvo, 4 p.m. sneaky get out of work session. Yeah.
That's right. I remember, I've got this, sometimes when I see people for the first time, there's people that kind of stand out. I don't know if it's an energetical thing or whether or not there's that sensory knowing that it's like like-mindedness. Straight away you resonated with me before I'd even said a word to you.
Yeah.
Whether it's a familiarity or...
Yeah, we did. And I'm all about that, mate. I reckon that's life. You get that instant hit connection.
Yeah.
Not visible with someone. And you were just on the sidelines of the pool frothing around. Ready for the surf.
Yeah.
It's good.
I might have been... Was I there with Hannah? Were we having a working day out there that day or...
No, I didn't meet Hannah.
Okay.
I really only said g'day to you in the water.
Yeah. It was a quick kind of like, g'day, hello, and then, I don't know, from there, we connected on Instagram, and then...
Look where we are now.
I know, and then so much has happened in between, and I was really, I could have asked a lot of people to come down, some amazing people to come down, and for some reason I was like, I reckon with everything that I'm creating at the moment, it's all about creating things that are really authentic and genuine at that time, and not trying to imitate or recreate things, but try to keep things organically and flowing. And it was like, there's a reason why you came in the timing you did. And as I said, I'm stoked to have you here.
Mate, I'm humbled to be here.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think that I'm the first guest on your show. And yeah, thanks for having me. I'm all about that. Meeting people and just connecting with them. And there's a buzz and hanging out, think what we've done. What you've done for me in the last... What's it been? 2 months, 3 months?
I think we've both just been there for each other.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
We get it.
Yeah. So, the pool where we met, let's go back before that. Where did you come from? Like I know you're from WA, and I think there's something from within me being like growing up in vehicles, always people over in WA, the surfers over there, they had Nalu and they were always surfing bigger waves, and I was like always interested to know like over there and like anyone coming from there, what their story is. No, I still haven't been there. No. Yeah.
Left-handers.
Sure.
You'd love it. Yeah, that's where I came from. West Oz originally. Born and bred in Perth. Obviously a coastal little town. I still call it a big country town, which some of the West Aussies wouldn't like hearing, but never thought I'd leave, Brent. Actually thought I was a West Aussie, never ever going to leave. This is home. And here I am now living in Melbourne, which is the big city, Bayside. Waves aren't that close.
Yeah.
Had waves close to home everywhere I lived. But yeah, it's good. And then moved here for work. So a company that I was working for at the time wanted someone in a position here, so I applied for it. They gave me the gig, and they moved me to Melbourne in 18 years ago now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now it's kind of home. West Oz will always be true home, but Melbourne's home at the moment. Both kids are born here. You know, we've got a little community. There's the pool. Where I meet people.
I know, right?
Yeah.
What a great hub that is for meeting people.
Yeah.
Like,
you know about that place all day long.
Yeah,
it is a good hub. It's probably been, aside from the waves and the access to surfing, let alone a perfect wave, whenever you want to go, the people I've met there has been amazing. Yeah, really cool. Really good group.
now you've had an interesting journey, which I've been fortunate enough to be a small part of, and it was actually like a real privilege, to be honest, to be able to have a tiny part to play in that, just even those couple of days. But talk me through at the pool what event you got through and how you actually scored a spot in the Rip Curl Pro Trials. Like, how old are you? 46. You look good for 46.
Thanks, mate.
It must be all the punk rock that we've listened to.
Oh, and the reggae.
The reggae, which we'll talk about soon.
Yeah.
The surfing. But how did you actually get through from...
So, the pool being the pool, first in the country started. A wave pool in a city, people from all different walks of life, and then the Board Riders Club, which was kind of a bit of people to join and become an actual business member at the pool. But then we started doing a few contests. I had a bit of success in the first one. I got equal first. And then the second one was beast mode from memory. And I won that one, which was great.
So I was seeing you're natural footer, and I see you put both hands in and like really slow yourself down.
It's a bit of a habit that
Is it?
Yeah. I've got to mix it up.
We've all got our default that we go to though, don't you reckon? It's like our safe thing that we go to that we know we can enjoy and not give up a wave because we're trying to do something new.
You've got to keep yourself still and slow yourself right down. And for me, it's just double hand drag.
So good.
Yeah, I like that. I've got to mix it up. You just reminded me. I might write that on the nose of my board every time I paddle out. No hand drags. So won 2 events, I think. Equal first, and then the Beastmaster, and then there was one more contest which was cruiser turns, a new wave setting that they put on, and it was a real cruiser one, and I had to, I was on the leaderboard at the time, and then I had to get 5th or 6th, I think, and there was a spot in the trials, so got 4th from memory, or 5th, and they announced it. The head of the leaderboard, and there happened to be a spot in the Bells Trials because of the association with Surfing Victoria, and we're a legitimate club. We went into
okay, so this is legitimate and will be ongoing.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, it's first in the country.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. Arguably the world. I don't know if any other pools across the world got board riders clubs, but yeah, it's a thing.
And we've been leading the way in Australia. I look over to the US, and their board riding club is just starting to emerge now.
Yeah, right.
Is that right? Yeah.
I don't know, actually.
Yeah.
No, it's part of being my riders club. I'm really keen to explore, but to see what other countries and the pools they have, and this whole, mechanical wave, and the communities that it's going to build. It's actually really exciting. And just learning from each other. When Sydney opens up, hopefully they'll let us be involved.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Opening up surfing to as many people as you possibly can.
Incredible. How are we sound? Is everything good? Everything's going? Yeah, awesome, boys. Good. How good is it? Keith's here. We've got Sher here. Sher's been here all day hanging out.
We just need some water.
We need water. Sher, I need some coconut water upstairs, and I think Brendo needs some water.
Or a beer.
There might be a beer downstairs. There might be a beer in the fridge downstairs, maybe. However, I'm okay.
No, run around for me.
No.
Happy to sit on the water.
Yeah, sit on the water.
Yes, that's going to be exciting, mate. The club's one of those things that's quite new and evolved, but we want to keep it as like a true essence board riders club. Like you get at any given beach, which I've seen growing up along the coast, quite a few board riders clubs, and a little bit more inclusive. inclusive, a little bit more wide diverse, and we've got that reach of people in the city that wouldn't get in the car and go and hire a surfboard and put a wetsuit on and walk through sand to paddle out and try and learn to surf.
It's hard as.
Now they've got access to the whole thing right there at their doorstep.
Yeah. So that whole journey and that whole process to actually go and actually catch a wave is... The catching the wave part's like the last little bit of the whole journey, especially if you're coming from Melbourne.
Correct.
And I was raised in Melbourne myself and kind of like fell in love with the surf coast about the age of 13, 14. I was kind of like drawn to it.
Yeah.
It intimidated me. I didn't really enjoy it too much initially, but there was something in there that wanted me to keep pursuing.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how alluring it actually is. And so yeah, for me, it's always something I wanted to pursue. But coming from Melbourne, it's like, how do you get involved? And like, you're either going down with your mates, which is my story. We go down in the car. We're the first person to have a car, like their license.
Yeah.
Everyone to take off from school.
Totally. Yeah.
And before then, you'd have to ask someone's mum to drive you down or dad to drive you down, and they might a couple of times a year. That's how I got involved with it. And then there's families who had places down the coast. You become friends with their kids, and then you go, yeah.
I was a bit different. My dad used to surf, so he kind of led me and my brother into surfing. And once we got the bug, we were hooked. And then I just pushed my bike, 20 minutes or 45 minutes, a little bit further, depending what the soil was doing, and just get waves almost every day. So this is the first time I've lived in a landlocked kind of environment where you've got the bay, and don't get me wrong, that bay is beautiful. I utilise that as much as possible, but just the ocean and waves. It's a hike, like you're saying. You have to wait for someone to get their license, or mum and dad take me, an hour and a half to talk in, an hour and a half back. That's a big ask.
It's a lot, right?
So good on them.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
And there used to be Metro board riders back at the time.
Okay.
There was a board riding club, and Sea Level used to be in Hampton Street, where we used to go to school just down the road from there.
Yeah.
And so through Tommy, and then there was factories. They had local factories you could go down, and there was like a Hellbent factory, and there was a Ding Doctor, and there's all then Oak and Morty Surf. They were all kind of like the roots of the Metro scene, you could say. Oh yeah, and then now like Urban Surf becomes a Metro hub.
Yeah.
It's people's first step into, it's hard to even call it a sport, isn't it? It's a way of life.
Yeah.
And it can be a sport. It can be many things to many people, and there's no limits really.
And you see that so much at the port. There's such a range of people there. It's such a good atmosphere and so supportive. Everyone's doing each other into waves, and there's a lot less of that ocean, for want of a better word, localism and pressure from people to be good surfers as soon as you paddle out. At Urban, it's like crew giving each other advice and helping each other out. And you're on a setting that should be manageable for you, or you shouldn't pay for the hour, which you obviously see.
100%.
But
thanks, man. Just bring the bottle. All good.
There wasn't a bit, that's all that was left.
There's one in the coconut. Do you want coconut?
oh, yeah.
Look at this. There's another one in there in the bit you slide out.
Oh, okay, cool.
So yeah,
The boys are focused on. The boys are focused on.
they want to get it.
They want to make sure they get it.
Yeah.
All the energy they've gone into. Well, that's cool. Like, that's all played out, and it's a cool spot.
Good, mate. We're talking about it when a lot. The last few combos we've had, which have always been, I've really enjoyed. And that's why I guess part of the reason I'm here. But you spoke about that a lot. One of those things.
Well, I've been taking. I remember when Hannah first reached out to go surfing for the first time, she's now Belle's business partner. She's like, let's go surfing. And I took her down Great Ocean Road, and then that was really good. But it wasn't a good experience or an easy user experience. And then to go to the pool, it's such a good place for first steps.
Yeah.
I'm always a bit like I love it and I want to promote it. And at the same time, there's part of me that's like, and the ocean's always there, and you'll probably find that experience is completely different in its own thing.
100%.
Totally.
They're two different sports in my opinion.
Yeah, right.
So they're both surfing.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, they're two variations of surfing. It's a completely different concept.
Yeah.
Through the gates of
Thanks,
that
bro.
pool versus walking down a sand track with the sun coming up over your back, and that's here anyway. And the waves just pulsing, and you're fresh as the morning, paddling out into fun little natural ways. Nothing beats that for me.
I know.
So then the next experience is, how close can you get to riding waves? Because that's what some of the fun is in what I just described.
Yeah.
Not all the fun. Just
It's like theme park, yeah. So nice.
Both places, yeah.
Kind of reminds me a bit of escaping to the snow. When you walk into there, like, you're on a mountain, you kind of forget everything. Kind of forget a lot when you walk into there.
Well, that's nature too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Getting outdoors, and I know you're a bit of a believer of, routine and
Routine.
and commitment and style and health and well-being, which is super important for me as well. And get outdoors every day. You can do it.
I see you do your dips.
Yep.
Every day.
15 days we're up to.
In a row.
I have missed a few for various reasons we won't mention, but 115 every day in that cold freezing bay. Through summer it was like a bath and beautiful, but she's down to 12 degrees in the water. So
Beautiful, nothing like it.
just sit there for 15 minutes, socialise with some friends if they happen to be there. And,
Yeah.
there's a consistent mod of this, but water therapy, I love it. It's really good. You should get into it.
I know, and this is what I'm like. I love getting it when I'm sore or whatever. Like, I'll get in the ocean and go for a surf. I've been training or play golf. My body kind of stiffens up, and then to go surfing. But it's not like getting that full cold experience or immersion, which I need more of and I want more of.
It's just indescribable. It's crazy how good it is. Met a fella yesterday morning.
I'll put this over here, otherwise I'll just drink it.
President of the Brighton Ice Burgers.
Yeah.
You know the Brighton Ice Burgers, right? He's been getting in the ocean. He paddled over to us just after first light on a surf rescue board, had a buoyancy vest on, light on the back of his head, and even a shark band around his ankle when he's paddling on this thing. He comes over and he says, "Morning, how are you?" Had a little chat to him. He was the president of the Brighton Ice Burgers. He's been doing it since 1977. Going in the cold water.
Wow.
Jumping on his paddleboard, and he looked proper up and about at that time of day. He looked really fit and real sprightly. Yeah, good fella.
Awesome.
I reckon he's proof cold water's good.
Yeah, I think there's a number of things that I've definitely, I'd say, key influences on me feeling the way I do today.
Yeah.
Hey guys, can we change that Instagram camera? Can we change that and point it so that people can see Brendon as well? Sorry.
It's a lot behind the scenes, the man with no face.
Well, I just thought, because I said to people, even though we're recording,
interviewing this dark, not.
I don't know if you need. I don't know, but just maybe somehow we can work it out and we'll find something. That'd be good, I reckon. Yeah, we've got to be here. You don't have to figure it out right now. Maybe I'll give some thought to it in the next little bit while we keep talking, and then that might be a good approach. I don't know. There's a number of different. Thanks, Sher. There's a number of different things that I feel like I've done, which has been different, and I found this term the other day. I love it. It's called a positive deviant, and it's somebody. I sort of gone, that's it, and I feel like
a description of a person.
Yeah, it's a positive deviant, and it'd be good. Keith, if you can find the definition of a positive deviant and read it out, I love it.
Don't Google it. Don't Google image it, Keith. Something.
No, not deviant, deviant, like Deviant, and it talks about how in society or in communities, there's people within that audience or. Thanks.
Just like that.
I would have been good if you read it out. You didn't want to read it out.
You should have read it out. You read it out.
Now I need my glasses, no. A positive deviance is based on the observation that in every community there are certain individuals or groups whose uncommon behaviours and strategies enable them to find better solutions to problems than their peers while having access to the same resources and facing similar or worse challenges.
Themselves in a situation very differently, but those that handle it the same group together. Yeah, and also though that enable them to find better solutions to problems from their peers. And sometimes I sit there and I think about how my approach to living life these days compared to how it used to be, and I feel like I used to be very much conforming to
I was in the rat race, right? I was on the wheel. I was running and running and running and running and running, and it burnt me out. You know, chasing what society or what people around me or what even I thought that I was meant to be. And I always thought there was something, like obviously being a black sheep, something a little bit different within myself. And growing up as a Turkish boy, DNA with, I don't know, to describe the Australian culture in terms of conditioning, I never felt like I kind of belonged. And I've observed that over the years in terms of, you know, growing up as a kid and always spending a lot of time on my own, and then further moving into, you know, high school, which was a challenge for me because I was dealing with some traumas in terms of not having a father figure around in year 10, 11, those years, and I was looking for attention. And so I'd go and start lots of little fires with all the guys at school, and then it'd be on, and then I'd have 20 of them after me, you know, and I'd watch a few Rocky movies at the same time, and it's kind of like, but I was getting attention, and it didn't matter at the time that any attention was better than no attention.
So were you getting bullied around the high school, chased around? And
yeah, but I gave a bit too.
So we're talking, what, early 80s kind of?
No, so this was more like 92-ish, 93-ish, but like I say...
Late high school.
Huh?
Late high school.
Yeah, but like I say, like I gave as good as I got, but sometimes I got a little bit too much, I reckon. And like when you're tied up to a pole, I got the tied up to like a volleyball pole, and there's dog crap on the ground. It's somehow got onto your feet, and you're left there, and the bell's gone, and everyone's running back into class. It was all a big joke. It was a big joke at lunchtime, but when the bell went, and then everyone kind of like went back, and I remember being there and a teacher having to come over.
Yeah.
I felt pretty average about myself at that time.
As you would, mate.
Yeah, but at the time I just laugh it off. And anyway, to relate it back to Positive Deviant, as I continued on in my journey through life in terms of, you know, being married and family units and all those type of things, I never felt like I really, truly belonged or was running at my full potential or my optimum. I feel as though as time's gone on and I've been freewheeling, operating from my heart, leading from there, and then executing and strategizing from my brain, that I do things so differently to most people, and yet seem to have found the time to be able to put it all together and run it, and it's kind of working. And I like, okay, I'll sit there and I'll look at other people and the way they go about it, and what nuances and little bits and pieces we can discover with each of us that can, if we share them, get them out, can actually help everyone. Do you know what I mean? But there's got to be an acceptance as well.
Mate, you just hit the nail on the head. Like, acceptance is the key. Because everyone goes about their stuff differently, right?
Yeah.
So unfortunately, if someone doesn't like it, or someone goes about their stuff.
And just some of my views in the last couple of years, having my heart behind it, and how it hasn't come across like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's also hard to make it always come across how you'd like it to.
I know.
So,
I know, right?
if you do it politely and you actually do it without any malice and you put your view across, your view's your view. That's, you know, as long as it's not too strong in a heavy, nasty, illegal way.
Yeah.
View's your view.
Yeah, yeah.
You just got to accept it. Listen to that.
I think, we need this closer? Hello.
There we go. How's that? I can see looking forward to, mate. I'm probably just laid
This
back.
is a good test. This is a good test run. This is a good test run.
That's why you get the amateurs on, mate.
No, not at all.
Get the amateurs on.
No. I believe massively in using your environment around you in terms of everything. If I'm like through working or running events or facilitating workshops, or you use a little bit of everything, you know. Everything's part of it.
Totally.
Everything's
and
part of it.
And I have accepted opportunities in the world, which is just meeting someone and having a chat and a chin wag and exchanging ideas, you know. You said something this afternoon on your story about, you know, something you really agreed on, but we've always just chatted about it, which is cool.
I know, right?
You know?
Yeah, funny. I could just being able to sit there and learn from each other provides balance.
Yeah. Totally.
I get calmer.
Yeah. So talk to me, going back to that day you were talking about, tied up to the pole with your tie, dog shit on your foot, which I'm assuming was put on there or someone pushed you into and then tied you to a pole with a siren. Yeah. You've come along as in mindset.
I know.
That would have been pretty harrowing. I saw a lot of bullying in high school myself.
Yeah.
We're talking in the years you and I went to high school. You know, kids were getting caned at school for doing things. There were prefects detentions where I went. to my school where you were just picked out of a line because you had your socks down, or something wasn't right about you. They didn't like the look of you, and you'd have to turn up at lunchtime, and the prefects, the older kids, would just bully the younger kids, and I just saw it all the time, experienced it, and the world's come a long way since then.
It has come a long way.
Good or bad, it's come a long way, whether you agree with some of it. So I'm sorry and sad to hear that you got bullied at school, because, that's, as a kid, a young man, that can affect you.
Yeah, and like, this is the thing, like, it did affect me, but I kind of like laughed it off and shrugged it off at the time.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
You've got thick skin, others.
Yeah, I know, I've had to kind of like create it.
You were given it as well, that was the other thing.
Well, that's it. That's why.
You knew how to take it.
And this is the thing, like, when you say you come a long way since then, where I got to in terms of mindset was just taking 100% responsibility for as much as I can, even when, and this is where I've learned over the years, that you can't take 100% responsibility for other people's shortcomings. You've got to kind of let them. But if I just own everything and take responsibility, for one, I'm going to become a better version of me.
Yeah.
And two, I'm probably going to lift the burden maybe a little bit on others around me. But it's too much. Like, and that's what I've learned. Like, for me, living day to day, growing businesses, it was like, it wasn't a good day.
Yeah.
And on my journey, I found different ways to escape that. And it came through, like, I think, the pressures of transitioning from, a teenager into a young adult into an adult. And that's so challenging for everyone.
Yeah, it is.
Without
everyone
question.
Holding down a business is a lot of energy. So there's a lot of pressure. You've got to risk, right? So what did you do? What were the things that took you away from that pressure?
Like about, surfing for one is like something that's been a constant assigned piece of my identity that I used to be proud of, and now I'm freaking proud of all of it, the good, bad and the ugly. But definitely I'll never forget, being a 15-year-old kid, pairing up to the Gold Coast to live up there for 2 months, because that's what we're going to make a new start. And then me and my mum ended up coming back to Melbourne and staying at my grandma's, who's passed away. And I remember it was a time where I wanted to do different things, and I'd heard about drugs and I heard about alcohol. And I remember one of the first, it was either with Ben Hallis, who's no longer with us, or it was maybe at a party, a Year 10 party. And I remember being introduced to it, and I lacked confidence growing up, and I lacked confidence with girls, and and I remember drinking for the first feeling I'd get, have 4 beers, and I'd be trashed, and I'd be spewing up, and just I'm worse now. That's why I don't have it.
I'm still like that. I'm still like that. Doesn't take much.
Now it's like, I know, and now looking back, like, far out, the smashings I've given myself. And for me, it's more about like I enjoy having a good time. So now I try to find things that I have a good time while I'm doing, and then I feel good when they're finished. And so, like, for me, like that, I didn't like the feeling the next day, like how I felt. And so, so you explore alcohol, and then at the same time, you kind of like explore, and at the time I perceived it as a drug, marijuana for the first time. And I remember I'll never forget, it was like a Dendy Park in South Road around Brighton there, and this little, chopped the flowers up. And then,
hang on, who'd you get this little bud from?
Well, it just manifested out of nowhere.
Popped out of someone's pocket.
Exactly right. And here we were, and and I was like, what's it going to do to me? How am I going to feel? And I remember having it and had a couple of puffs, and I think at the time we'll listen to like Red Hot Chili Peppers, like Under the Bridge, and like Nirvana, Come As You Are, and like that was some of the songs and music. We'll listen to the culture back then, and experiencing it for the first time and my interest at school probably got knocked around as well. I'd probably say categorically it did. And it was real contrast to where you go and drink and party and get drunk and. I used to act like, I'd go 2 ways. I'd either act like a dickhead or I'd start crying.
It's not a good look at a party. Either one of them.
Oh, this is what happened. And so I know, right? I know, I couldn't, like 20%.
It's funny, because don't you drink to fit in?
Well, I'm probably too hard. I'm probably too hard on myself to be that, and that's what I do to myself. But, I'd And I would, and I reckon there was part of me, like now, it really knocks me around in terms of, and challenges I've had with depression and anxiety and that type of thing. A lot of it has been stem from the alcohol, and then when you go out and party, what that leads to. And I found with having a joint when I was younger, it meant I could go to bed and I'd be safe. I'd wake up the next morning and I'd feel okay. Go surfing.
Yeah.
And go surfing we did.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times we were. Yeah. And the best, we had a routine. It was like you'd be in the car and you'd make these like bongs made out of glass bottles and Spring Valley bottles and hoses and all these type of things. You go and cut up the neighbours' hoses back in the day, and you really felt like you were doing something that was wrong. It was illegal, which it was and is still to an extent, and. But we had our cycle where it'd be that, and then be in the water straight after it, surfing, and then into the bakery.
I can relate. That whole thing of smoking weed was, you could wake up the next day and go surfing. You couldn't if you'd been on the beers at the pub. But I can relate. But it's one of those things that surfing for me was everything. It sounds like it was for you. So I didn't like to drink a lot. I think the first time I smoked weed, I didn't get stoned. I thought I was stoned, but I don't think I was.
Yeah.
I was just in the moment with a whole heap of young fellas down at a beach somewhere.
Yeah.
Everyone was just excited, and the anticipation to smoke weed was there. And then I just remember going home, going, I don't think I was any different. We just sat on the beach and laughed like we do every other night. Second time round was a different story, but I was like you, mate. Lots of bad experiences with me and at parties and. Alcohol in me, I should say, and people seeing other people at parties. Alcohol wasn't my jam so much. It's still why it only takes me 2 pots of any kind of beer and I'm on my way.
Yeah.
I like it, but I'm probably the world's biggest binge drinker. The world's best binge drinker.
Okay.
I can sit down and have a session.
Yeah.
And then I won't touch it for a month, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. I don't drink at home socially. I don't really drink. I just drink out socially. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the same thing, bud. Surfing. Wake up the next day after smoking a joint and you're okay.
Yeah. It's interesting you talk about like being in a group scenario and the energy of people and you're feeling like you weren't sure if you were stoned or not stoned. And I remember, and this is how much we're all connected in terms of our energy. And whilst I'm, I know in my tank there's a capacity of how much energy I've got, and I know when it drains quick and when it recharges quick. And so I've got to be careful because when I get flattened out, interesting, I stopped drinking from between, when was it? I didn't drink for over 1,000 days. And so I'd go out and I'd drive people around to weddings and parties, all the family gatherings,
Everyone loved you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And but you'd feel part of the party. Well, not all the time. If I was cooked from work or burnt out, then I wouldn't. And I'd kind of be the grumpy guy, the one who doesn't want to have fun. Yeah. And that was hard as well because running a business and that. But I remember the energy piece and like the feeling of how you can get caught up in other people's energy and their feelings they're feeling.
Totally.
I think it happens with, in any environment, whether or not it's in social environments or business environments, our energy, we're connected.
Correct.
And there's people that with your energy will recharge you and fill you up, and there's ones that'll drain your energy as well, and it's
recognising them's probably one of the trickiest things to do in life, I reckon.
Yeah.
For yourself, they're easy to spot, but how long do you hang around with them for?
Well, that's right, and my kind of journey, my conditioning in terms of some of the environments I've been, and I've got to say, like, I don't sit here today looking back thinking, that was bad and this is bad and this is bad. All of it is, I kind of manifested that in who I was at the time. Yeah. And as soon as you start doing that change work and realising that you're kind of like responsible for kind of everything, all your thoughts, all your emotions, all your actions, that you can kind of like start figuring it out and move forward. And then that's when you start making decisions about where you invest your time and energy. And for me, with my conditioning, and I'm not saying conditioning specifically to me, I think our generation coming through in that time of the late 70s and early 80s, I think, major sports being promoted and lifestyles and way of life. Like if you look at like the traditional sports now, like look at surfing for example. Back in the day, that's a sport that a lot of people would be taking drugs in that sport, and now it's flipped so much where it's kind of
athletes.
They're just professional athletes like every single
yeah,
all the time.
yeah.
You know, I'm not saying they don't party and do those things 100%, but it's they have like, you know, the shift.
It has. It's really moved.
Yeah.
But for me, that's just a generational thing too, obviously.
True.
I mean,
Yeah.
20 years prior to us, you know, same thing. Probably was a lot looser. Didn't need seatbelts in cars.
Oh, I remember it.
Go to the pub.
I know.
Go home with no seatbelts. And, you know,
yeah,
it's a generational thing for me where it does shift. But it's actually really good to see because, you know, as we know, it's deserving of a spot, that sport, where it has been. And, you know, to have people as pro athletes, and like you saw at Bell's firsthand at the main event, it's just gone next level with the fitness and the, what's the word, accessibility to what surfers have got. It's really cool.
It is,
really
isn't
cool.
it? It is.
Love it. So tell me, are you a quick thinker? Like when you say you took a lot of time to make these decisions in life for you, does it happen like that for you? Or do you stew on them a lot?
Happens like that, and then I'll
Does it?
sit there and I'll wait before I've got the courage to step in it and take action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how long does it sit there for?
It depends.
Okay. And how big the decision is?
Depends. This has been to do this, like this, has been a while.
Right.
I've been procrastinating it. However, at the same time, if I look back, you know, I think I've needed to experience what I've experienced in the last couple of years to be at the point now where I'm a massive believer in earn's everything, you know, like I never want to be speaking about things that are outside my lane.
Yeah.
Even though I'm happy to comment on a number of things that are happening politically at the moment, the reason for that is because I see synergies, great synergies between that and the corporate world. Do you know what I mean? I see patterns and I see communication styles, and so I can kind of see how that plays out. But to go back one step, depends on the situation. Like sometimes I'm so spontaneous, and sometimes I'm like I'll sit there and stew and think, and then build up the courage, step through the fear, and then.
And just commit. Like once you've made that your mind up, you're all in, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're all in.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. There's no back.
Yeah.
It's kind of like.
Yeah. I'm in this. Let's go.
Yeah. And it's been a strategy.
Yeah.
I've
It's
used.
impressive, mate. It actually is an impressive character, because other people would just take way too long to make that decision, and the time might have passed, you know, or not made the decision to proceed and do a decision. You just decide not to, too hard. Or,
Well, for me, it's a journey to get to the point where I've had to get good at making decisions.
Yeah.
It's not like it's just like you're just going to make lots of decisions. I figured out though, the more great decisions I could make, or even good enough decisions I could make in the fastest amount of time, the faster the business would grow.
yeah.
The longer I sat there as a bottleneck, holding off on ideas, strategies, thoughts, communication, meetings, whatever it is, the longer it's going to take.
Yeah.
So you just got bam, 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 make them fast, and some of the decisions won't lead to the outcome you wanted, but you'll learn something from it for next time.
Yeah.
And then over the journey of time in a macro, making lots of like quick decisions pays off.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like but like I've had to build up reference points over my life to get to that point. And, you know, the feeling of being depressed makes it harder, and you're crippled sometimes lying around for hours on end, not doing anything. And it's kind of like compounds on itself, and it's like you can't get out of these holes.
Yeah.
You know, and so over the journey, I think, you know, going back to smoking my first joint when I was 15 and my journey with cannabis and now where it's at today, it's been a part of me to be able to help move forward, process trauma, pain relief, mental clarity. You know, there's a lot.
There is. It's only just being really acknowledged now, which is really interesting, isn't it?
I'm blown away by it.
Yeah.
And
It's
why
great.
I'm,
It's good to see.
yeah, and
Natural medicines. coming
yeah,
through.
I know, right? And I'm kind of passionate about the subject because I think, and a lot of people, you know, my age felt like bad and kind of like now as time's gone on and the world's kind of being a bit more open, we weren't at all. And so there's this stigma around it, you know, and I feel like by sharing, talking about it, and now how I approach it, and here's the thing too, the flip side of it being something that empowers me now, which I've learned after all these years and only through being referred through a GP, then to a cannabis doctor, and then having a script written where you go and pick up from the chemist, which is what happened to me. It's only through that journey have I realised that I was either abusing myself or abstaining, and my life was like this roller coaster.
Yeah. It's great that you got something that's sorted that out though, right? That was clearly accessible this whole time. But prohibition didn't allow it, and now that's kind of hopefully being
minimised.
Use that word stigma. It's a good word when it comes to cannabis or medicinal cannabis or weed or whatever you want to call it. The stigma's there. It's been bred into us that it's not allowed and it's illegal, and yet what they're discovering now with it, it's turned into a science. You know,
I know,
it's
right?
turned into a full-blown lab coat, huge, massive marijuana farming.
Yeah.
And they're, you know, measuring stems and they're measuring chemical content, and I won't try and talk like a scientist because I'm not one, but it's awesome. And what they're extracting and how they're treating people for so many different things is unbelievable and incredible. It's really
amazing.
Cool. It's really, really
cool. It is amazing.
To be able to pick up the phone or have a telehealth conference with someone, the doctor who's approved to subscribe it, and go and get, you know, the pains in your joints or your anxiety or your sleep deprivation sorted out through a natural herb is, wow, imagine that, eh?
Imagine
all
that.
These years,
imagine
it's taken
that.
us that long to go. People waste it.
Yeah.
So it's cool, and it's good that people have found that, you know.
Yeah, and I think
actually you should meet a good mate of mine, Geordie. He's part of Mode Health in Dunsborough, kind of breaking that stigma. You'd get on really well with him. You guys could talk for hours. What he's seen as far as that medicinal cannabis farming goes is mind-blowing. Yeah, picked up in cars, blindfolded, taken to a place where you have to put a suit on and walk through a sticky floor to take all the whatever you've got on you that they don't want inside the big cannabis farm, and they open up the doors and you are literally in a massive big plantation farm. Lab coats.
It's a credit. It's just
they don't want you to know about it.
Yeah.
But they do that because then they can get the exact amount of CBD or THC or whatever it is you need properly correct for you personally. So when you go back to the counter every time, it's the same medicine.
Well, that's
the key, as opposed to getting it black market style, going and smoking a joint in the car park thinking it's going to help. There's actual certain elements that are better for your condition. Yeah. And they're finally working it out. It's awesome. Yeah.
What I think is cool is the different types and the formats that you can get it in, like, you know, whether it's flowers or whether it's oils or whether or not it's drops, whether or not it's with THC, which for those who are not aware, that's the chemical compound that we've got within us, but gets us that high or stone feeling.
Correct.
Or without that, edibles and the treatments and how they can be applied for so many.
It's great. Imagine heading down to Discount Chemist Warehouse and saying, I'll have a bag of herb. It'll be like that soon, maybe.
Well, I kind of go to Terry White Chemart and I go, hey, I'm here to...
Prescription.
Yeah, exactly, right? But I don't always say prescription because I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
No, look,
but I do say, no, I'm here to get my scripts, and they're really professional, and it's great, you know. Yeah. And like that's the thing as well. Even though we've grown up in the generation where you know have a bit of a joke about it, I'm not here to endorse or promote it as a drug per se. It's about educating and empowering and enlightening people on the possibilities.
100%
for me. But the practical application, I won't say but, I'll say, and in the practical application of the different types of delivery around the different symptoms that people experiencing, including cancer, including autism, including, stuff.
The variety of things it treats is amazing. Yeah. And, you're talking about your growing up and the world you're in, and it wasn't dissimilar by the sounds of it, which is probably why we get on so well. And
there'll be a lot of people like that too.
Yeah, undoubtedly.
Yeah.
West Oz, did a little bit of experimenting to fit in, drank alcohol, smoked weed, and like we said, weed was kind of the thing, and because of the whole surfing aspect. And you've got to admit, I was probably self-medicating, and all this time, I could now go and say, just give me a prescription. It's just come so far. To your point earlier, that it was actually illegal, and you were a criminal back then, which you still are now. There's a great dispensary on Chapel Street, actually. It's a little bit more boutique than Terry White Chemist.
Is it?
They're starting to pop up everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, really cool. Yeah.
What's it called?
It's called Astrid.
Okay.
Dispensary on Chapel Street, yeah. It's just literally like walking into a really nice boutique place to get medicinal items, which is what Mode Health use.
I tried antidepressants once.
Did you?
Yeah, for 4 days.
Prescribed by a doctor, or?
Yeah. Kind of like I lost a bit of faith in the whole, that system a little bit through it,
I've heard lots of stories about different reactions to that kind of thing, but it doesn't sound like it's ever good.
I think it was too quickly prescribed, but at the same time I kind of done it to myself, and I think I was looking for, in some ways I feel like I was crying out for help, and this was a way I could do something about that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't know why. And anyway.
So what did the pills do to you?
They just stopped me feeling.
It's like level, kind of no highs, no lows, just that's not cool.
And
but some people unfortunately probably need that. So when I say that's not cool for you.
Wasn't cool for me, nah. No. Yeah. So and then like when I realised I felt so sick, and then my friend Bruno, who I was surfing with, you met Bruno? He asked me, we were surfing Southside one day, and I said, hey, I started taking antidepressants, and he said to me, how does it feel to catch a wave? And I said, I can't kind of feel it, like the way I normally feel it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
And that was kind of like a bit of a realisation for me.
Yeah.
And I remember like going and waking up in the morning, looking at myself in the mirror, and it was like, remember, take responsibility.
Yeah. Take
responsibility of your choices,
So what'd you do?
Threw them in the bin.
Yeah.
That was October 2018, and it was kind of the first step to recovery to where I was today. I ended up a few months later, I went back and lived with Mum for a little while.
Yeah.
I'm a dad, 40-something-year-old dad with 2 kids, bouncing from. But I made sure, through that journey and that process, that the kids had minimal disruption in terms of being at their mum's place, the old family home, and but that was when I started like rebuilding, and then was into there, and then I had a bit of support from Mum. It was me probably acknowledging to myself, hey champ, you can't do everything on your own forever. Yeah,
at least she was there, mate. At least you had her.
So I reached out, and went back home, and then through that journey, we had a lot of conversations about everything and healed our relationship, which is pretty incredible.
That's great.
And you're in confined, tight spaces with people. That tends to happen.
Both a little wiser, both a little older.
Yeah, tears, arguments, hugs, like all of it, for
Good
real,
stuff.
And then that kind of like the stepping stone to here. I always see the movie in my mind of where I wanted to be and who I wanted to be. This.
Yeah.
It's like
amazing.
day one kind of thing now with the entities up and running. But I kind of didn't know what I was aiming for. It was just a bit of a North Star. This place, the Trend Factory. And I kind of like created it. I realised my brain, I don't, like ADHD, who knows, but clearly I can just operate and do lots of different things at the same time, but I can't do the one thing forever. Which is interesting.
Yeah.
And I read I don't know the truth behind it. In concept, it sounded appealing to me that there was a science experiment with rats, MDMA in these glass containers. Glass, what do they call, what do you store rats in? I don't know.
I don't know. Aquarium, a tank.
A tank. It's like a rat tank, not a fish tank.
There
A rat tank. The rat tank with MDMA, right? And the rat would go up. And
sounds like some sort of exciting times ahead.
Yeah, I know. It has a rat. The rat's going to be like, anyway, so the rat goes up to it, and there's nothing else in the rat tank. So it has the MDMA, goes away, comes back, has more. And then they did the same experiment. They had the MDMA in the rat tank. And then they had other things for the rat to do, like climb the swing. The rat takes
Had the wheel for sure.
the wheel, the ladder, the bridge, and the rats would go up to the MDMA and they wouldn't have it because there's other shit for them to do. And I kind of realised within my makeup that I needed lots of different things to do. And I need lots of different variety all the time.
Yeah.
And if I've got that, lots of responsibility as well. If I've got that, loaded with variety, then I'm okay.
How many rats were in this tank?
I don't know. I've got it. This is where we need someone like going, can somebody please explain?
It's not a breakfast radio station with someone in the background Googling, mate. It's your first podcast.
That'd be good though.
Yeah, that would be good. But let's...
We can build to that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. We need to find that out. Somebody find out.
Because I'm curious how many rats went through that tank and how many rats were in the tank at the same time, and out of how many number of rats actually took the MDMA. Surely there was a couple. There had to be a couple.
Oh, and then what happens? How many rats are there in that tank in like 12 months' time, or how long it takes for them to conceive a rat? There would be in the rat tank.
The rat tank.
Oh, the rat tank.
I need to see this footage.
I know, right?
So, but what you're saying is keep active, and you may not be tempted to go to the dark side.
Kinda.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, what do I want to be doing in here? What type of activities I want to have? And it's, my North Star. Yeah. There seemed to be something to work towards. And, something popped into my head the other day. Like, I think the first steps to recovery are choosing the lesser of two evils. And, I feel like over the journey, as I've been coming, because my lifestyle now is very different to what it used to be. And without going into detail on the show, it's like, the path out of that was kind of the lesser of two evils, and that's where I found that the cannabis helped me. Where even as a father, as an adult, or as a businessman or whatever it is, I'd have a joint and go to bed. Yeah, it was so
you can sleep after a joint.
I can sometimes.
Okay. Yeah.
Depends, and it depends on the variety. Now we get stuff where you can keep chatting. Yeah. And then stuff that you chill out to,
Yeah, which you don't know when you get it from the...
But you don't know.
Underworld. Yeah. Let's just
the
underworld, because that's what, the mainstream media calls it.
I know, right? Yeah.
But, it's cool, man. It's good that you found your thing. Like, if that's what you need to de-stress, you and I were gas-bagging the other day about it, how you need those things, and I just call them cups, cups to feel that kind of make you feel... a little bit detached from all those pressures that come with running a business, or keeping a roof over your head, or even not keeping a roof over your head. There's pressures. So for you it's that, having a chuff with a joint every now and then, surfing, golf.
I love it.
That's another detached view, isn't it? Right, the golf thing you love.
But it's a connection to people.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I was going through divorce, separation, very isolated, and that happens to men a lot of the time in today's society, that they do get isolated or feel isolated. Not saying whether or not they create that for themselves or it's other people's influences, but that's a real scenario that happens.
Yeah,
and that's
totally.
At
some point, in my opinion, and then to have others around you, full circle back to what we're talking about, having a community, whether it be your golfing association. Or surfing, seeing someone in the water that it's really cool. Have that switch off,
Yeah.
I'm not much of a golfer. I've played 3 games of golf in my life, and it's always been at some sort of occasion.
I'm not a golfer.
Well, you play golf a lot, don't
you? Yeah, I know, but I'm just not. Like my swing, but I can hit it as far as the guys. I can fit.
We should play a game, because I might have half a chance then.
I reckon. I've got good hand-eye.
I'm not very good.
I've got good hand-eye. That's how I get. That's what gets me through. Because I don't have a beautiful swing, or I believe a lot of the golfers are taller. Not to stereotype, but I'm like this.
Really? Well, good surfers are short. There you go. That's your player.
Well, I got this snowboarding. Somebody said to me, they got this snowboarding surfing style, and I kind of like it. That was Keith, I think, actually.
That you do?
Yeah, I like it. It was like low centre of gravity.
Yeah.
Obviously it helps,
As long as you're not trying to do heel to toe too much, you'll be all right.
Yeah, I know, right? I haven't done heel to toe for a while.
No.
So it's been an interesting journey, and I mean, now I love going out for a restaurant and having a couple of cocktails. On a day, it's I love it.
That's your thing?
Yeah, I love it. So
Amazing.
good. So good. And like, even my birthdays have just come and gone like with that. And it's kind of like, now looking back over the journey, stacking all those days on top of each other, the compound effect of getting up, looking after myself, working hard. Like, holy shit. You know, every day for like, it hasn't been every day, but out of the last 2 years being here, I don't know, I've been dropping stories for a while and there haven't been too many days that I haven't been doing stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and
no, you always seem
yeah,
like you're kind of just one of those little battery bunnies bouncing around, always going here and going there. As long
not
as
who
you've
I
got
am.
time out. But you're surfing heaps, you're playing golf about, right?
It's not who I am though. It's not like, I'm pretty chilled, laid back, stay at home.
Yeah.
You know, happy hanging out and live that low key lifestyle. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like that's
Enough.
what I'm moving to. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is refreshing.
Yeah.
Because I've been doing this now for a while, and like, you know, it's not all about that.
Time to slow down, you reckon?
It's coming.
Really?
Yeah.
Don't get old on me, mate.
What?
Still be surfing, as long as you're still surfing.
I'll still be surfing. I'll be moving. I'll be surfing more.
Yeah.
And golfing more.
Yeah. Are you
Yeah.
going to ride a longboard, you reckon?
I'll ride a shortboard for as long as I can,
Okay.
but I'll have a longboard in the quiver soon, I reckon.
I was talking to my brother about this the other night, and this is just our preference,
Yeah.
is I'd rather ride a really long shortboard, like a semi-gun,
Yeah.
than a mouth. When I'm really out. As long as I'm physically fit enough to surf, I don't want to ride a longboard. I'll just ride something big and wide that looks like you're about to paddle out to Haleiwa or somewhere, but it just, you're surfing 2-foot gunner.
I know, right? I feel like it's my ego, like, as well with that. Like, it's what wants to be able to prove myself and stay young and keep up.
I'm like that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's all right. I reckon it's all right. What is it? Positive chip on your front shoulder that Gary B talks about.
Yeah, it's good. I like that.
It is right.
Positive chip on your shoulder.
I'd like to have, like, I sit there on those days when it's like 1 to 2 foot, nice long waves, and I'm like, I wish I had a mouth. I wish I had one.
Don't you just need a fatter, wider, bigger board?
I've got a little runabout that can run in like 1 to 2
with a
foot
pointy
waves.
nose on it.
Yeah, I've got that.
Bought a 6-foot single fin, 6-channel for those kind of days. Really wide and fun. But, like we was saying, mate, those releases your lifestyle for everyone.
Everyone.
You know? Don't just talk about us, it's for everyone.
Everyone. Yeah.
You know? I always talk about those cups, and I'll probably try to put too many cups out there and fill them all at once, you know.
Tell me about that, because that's something that I couldn't do. Stay in a marriage, right? Like filling those cups, ticking those boxes, ensuring I'm adequately giving time to all the things the life that I chose, where I was heading, I couldn't make it work. And I take responsibility for that. So
it's interesting you describe it like that. That you couldn't make it work.
Well, look, that's the thing. Like, it always takes 2 to tango.
Okay.
It takes 2 to tango.
So maybe the question is different, but I know what you're saying. And you're asking me how to fill those cups. I'm still learning, mate. I'm still learning which ones to fill on which day and when can I do this. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a logistics game, really, of when you can fit.
I know, it's like that one. You put your finger here and that pops up and then you put...
Oh, there's always something on the calendar. Yeah. And you always double booking, but not there to let people down. It just happens.
There's guys who can do it.
Yeah.
And they can enjoy it, and they like, you know. And I think I can. I've just been the wrong holes.
Yeah, maybe. Don't do that at golf.
Wrong holes.
Sorry, you thought I went somewhere else, but I didn't.
I didn't.
Don't do that at golf. Go for the wrong hole.
That you've worked in the surf industry. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, my old boy, my dad, he was in what I call the rag trade.
Okay.
As a wholesale clothing and apparel and clothing are the same thing. Surf hardware and as an agency in West Oz. So I was kind of, you'd argue, born into it. He was the first agent for quite a few brands like Mambo. First ever agent signed for 100% Mambo was what it was called back then.
Really?
And
it was 100% Mambo. That's right.
He's got the tribal dude with the bone through his nose. And
was that the 80s? It wasn't earlier than the 80s, was it?
It was mid 80s, I reckon.
Mid 80s.
Late 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, yeah, the old boy was in the rag trade as an agent over there, and just progressively and out of almost a little bit of nature and default, I ended up working in a surf shop and then came up through the ranks of the rag trade with surf brands, and we did everything. In West Oz as a commission-paid clothing agent, you had to take on quite a few brands to make it worthwhile. And that's what we did. Then I became a rep, and I've kind of been involved in that industry, mainly in sales and brand management, I guess you'd call it, almost all my life, watching my dad do it.
Wow.
Even though he wasn't living at home from an early age,
Yeah.
I was kind of involved in that world. So yeah, it's been good to me. It's been fun. It's kept me surfing. It's kept me involved in other board sports and loves that I think's the cliche of if you can get a job you reasonably like. I would never say I'm going to love my job. I hope I can, but that'll be less of a stress level cup that you don't have to fill up.
Yeah.
But the industry was pretty relaxed back then. It's changed a lot now. Changed a hell of a lot.
In what ways?
Oh, it's just become more digital, way more competitive, international now. Online shopping wasn't even a thing, mate. They didn't have the interwebs when I even hit the road with a clothing rack and a triplicate order form. Without a phone, you'd literally be calling into the office from a landline, just checking in, saying, "Yeah, I'm here. I've done this. I've done that." To now, you can do that role from home with a business-to-business shopping platform, and the retailer's the same. So it's changed a lot, and online shopping's given it a bit of a kick from a shared consumer piece of the pie that you draw from, and a lot of big international majors have moved in, like every industry, come into this country, and it's become competitive. So they're probably the biggest changes.
What have you seen that stood the test of time back then to now?
Relationships and customer service. They're the two things that won't change, in my opinion.
Yeah. Wow.
They're the same as they've ever been. Probably more important to a point now because the world's become so digital. So from a retailer's point of view that wants to buy something from a wholesaler or a distributor or whatever that is, if that service is above and beyond when you're in their face, more often than not, they're busy people. They'll just want to buy from them.
Interesting.
I think for me, that's everything.
It used to be the way to do business. Now it's become a reason why to do business. If you've got that
it's a good
human
way to put
interaction.
it. See, you're the man with words, like I just did.
That's why we're jamming. We're making music. By the way, where's your guitar? Can someone please bring...
I'm not sure we'll play that tonight.
Oh, really? We're going to save that for...
We'll leave that aside.
Okay.
Yeah, might have had too much coconut water.
Okay.
But yeah, that's probably, for me, the biggest philosophy of just, you don't have to be their friends, and there's some people you will be friends with in business, and that's great.
Yeah.
Just do what you say you're going to do and wares and be polite about it, and if you make it easy for them, they'll buy it. And that's not just the rag trade. That's life, in my opinion.
Well,
it's
absolutely.
Like a life value is just treat people well.
Tech
Some
industry
you'll
is the same.
connect with, some you won't.
Yeah. Yeah, tech industry is the same.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
That's why we're similar.
Not
We've got that
surprised.
similar streak.
Yeah, but I actually have an incredible group of friends that I don't think I've ever told you about, and I want you to be guest there one morning. It's a breakfast bunch that I go to. It is all male, as much as that may cause controversy. It was a boys' business breakfast group when I ran a business and I was invited to. And the same 8, I think one's dropped off, 7, 8 fellas go to breakfast every Wednesday fortnight at the same place, and we've been doing it for 10 years now. And there's been guys from all walks of life.
Really?
Yeah. All different ages, and I want you to come along.
Yeah, I'll come along.
And the point I made there is that sharing of information and, across all the different industries that you were talking about before with your definition of... It's going to slip me. Keith, what did you look up? What?
Positive Deviant.
Thank you.
Not Deviant, Deviant.
Positive Deviant is a really good example of that breakfast group of sharing information. So...
some people
that
want to
manly cup that we need to fill in.
talk about fear, talk about love, talk about relationships.
Yeah, I think there is a lot to that,
We don't do that enough.
No.
We don't do that enough.
No.
I was fortunate enough to be involved with a group of guys, Christian Surfers International, and
Cool.
BD, Brendon Davis, founded it way back when.
Another BD.
Yeah, like about 30 or 40 years ago, and I was
Yeah,
very
right.
fortunate to go to Hawaii, stay on the North Shore, stay at the Sunset Beach Church in shared dorm rooms out the back,
Amazing.
both of the experiences have been incredible. And we go and get all the food at the start of the week from Costco, buy up in bulk. We sleep together, not actually, but we sleep in the same dorm room. We eat together, we prepare meals together and for each other, we surf together, and we be together. And then each night after dinner, we'll go around the fire and we'll talk about fear, being on the North Shore, how that relates to life in terms of, you know, work pressures, fatherhood, relationships.
Yep. There's a lot to
Incredible.
it. Yeah, it is.
Like, BD's a great leader, and there's some really good guys. Starry, who were part of that, who I met, and just, yeah, Kyle, like, just, yeah, so I feel very grateful just to go on those trips and surf on the North Shore.
Yeah, it's an amazing trip.
Incredible.
Catch up with all those guys?
Well, it was funny, they're in Sydney. They're all up in
Okay.
Sydney. There is a CS place down at Torquay. During the time, I kind of like I was a bit of a drifter. I was drifting when I met him.
Yeah.
Well, I met Kyle in G-Land, at G-Land.
A couple of days. When is the waiting period?
Yeah, I know.
Sunday.
Is it tomorrow or the day after? The day after.
Sunday. I think Sunday it starts.
I can't believe it.
So good.
I can't believe it.
So good.
Those videos you used to watch over and over and over and over again. The Prodigy is the first song, the opening song on a Quickie Pro with a tiger on the front with the red. Oh,
Yeah.
and Luke Egan won it.
Yeah.
I get goosebumps.
Yeah, same. It's going to be really exciting, actually.
That video is the reason why I've been there so many times.
Yeah.
You know, and Tommy Carroll and
Yeah.
all down the line.
100%.
Oh,
Yeah. Who's your pick? Who's going to win it?
oh. Gabe and Kelly popped into mind.
Really?
Mm.
Gabe was surfing it incredibly the other day. I'm going to go Jack Robbo back to back off Margie's.
Local boy.
Yeah.
For you?
West Oz.
Yeah.
Yeah. He got a pretty nice, long, deep tube out there the other day. So he's my pick.
He's
It's going to be good to watch.
What's that?
It's going to be good to watch.
Every day.
Yeah.
Like
so
every
tell
day.
me, Christian surfers, did you have to be a follower of their beliefs to join the club, or how did you?
Well, I went through an experience when I was 30, and I always had like Christianity through the schools or
Okay.
being raised, always there, but not actively pursuing. And I went through a bit of a transformational experience when I was 30, and then that's kind of like I've just been choosing by faith to walk that path. And when I walk that path, do I read the Bible every day? No. Do I go to church? No.
Yeah.
But do I believe? Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And I try to follow the principles, you know, that are in the book or the Bible. And when I say this, speaking about this, I don't believe that that's the only way or the only pathway to whatever's up there,
Yeah.
which goes contrary to the beliefs in there, which goes, I think, contrary to all the beliefs of all of them. I believe
Yeah.
they all lead to the same pathway. Now, I'm not saying I've got the answers, or
For sure.
that's my belief, and that empowers me, and it keeps me being accepting of other people and their beliefs around that.
Yeah.
Where I think sometimes some of the scriptures aren't open enough in their bit. And like we've seen the shifts in the last 2 years in society, and they've come a long way. I'm not saying I think it could be a bit more in the, but I don't know.
Yeah, look, it's one of those things, mate, and I'm sitting back listening because I'm thinking, you know, it's one of those things that you're not meant to talk about, right?
I know. So
And
just
it's
talk about it.
just so interesting. Why can't we just all talk about like what people's views are on it without having drama
I know.
or hostility because your belief's different to mine? I mean, I don't know, man. I was brought up, you know, at a private school. For whatever reason, my parents were divorced and still wanted to send me to a private school, and they were, you know, pushing a certain religion, and it was always in my face. And,
Yeah.
I certainly take a lot from that, as in a bit of a moral compass more than anything.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
100%. That's probably what I was looking for a
It's
bit.
more
yeah.
a moral compass
Yeah.
for me, the religion that I'm a result of because of all the experience I've had with different religions. And I reckon there's a bigger power for sure, but not one of these people has proof of any of it. So you're all kind of,
I know.
for me personally,
I know.
going, just show me some proof. That's all I want to see. I'm a little bit more black and white. I want to see what's in the cookie jar. If there's no cookies, I'm not putting my hand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no point. So that's where I'm at. But
I get
it's definitely a higher power.
I get
I
it.
wrote a song about it. It's called Foot Washer. And now's the time I wish I had a guitar in my hand. But we're not doing that today. I'll come back. Maybe soon. But yeah, I'm with you. Like there's but why can't we talk about it? Why can't someone sit down and talk to me about their beliefs if I don't believe it? As long as you're not trying to push it onto me.
Yeah, I know, right?
Let's have a chat about it.
Yeah, which is kind of cool that we kind of are doing that, tonight.
And I knew you'd be able to talk to me about anything, mate.
What's that?
I knew you and I'd be able to talk about anything, really.
Yeah, I always thought that.
It's cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
You know?
Yeah, it is cool.
Old enough not to get that hostility about ourselves.
Yeah, but like I haven't always been this way, and I can't be this way with everyone.
Right.
Right.
Because you're a fiery fella, right?
I don't know.
Are you?
I don't know. Well, I don't know.
Bit of a rat bag as a kid.
Maybe I just want to be loved. Maybe I just want to be accepted.
Yep. Which is just a different way of showing it, hey? Yeah, it's interesting. Good way of putting it. Yeah.
I'm getting there.
Yeah, but everyone's got their measure, right?
Yeah. So, yeah. I'm getting there.
Yeah.
I feel worthy of love.
Of course you're worthy of love. Everyone is, bro.
Yeah, but you don't always feel that. Not everyone feels that.
No, that's right. It's convincing yourself that. Yeah.
Yeah, or is it convincing it, or...
On the days when you're down, you've got to convince yourself sometimes. 100%.
Yeah, well... Yeah, and then there's like, what about, like, as we're all... I like to say perfectly flawed. We're all perfectly flawed.
Yeah, I like that. That's cool.
Yeah. I like to reframe everything. Helps me move forward, process.
Your way of digesting shit. Yeah, it's good.
Just works for me. It's a coping mechanism, but then it's turned into a bit of a getting stuff done.
What's the worst injury you've ever had? No, I'm asking this because I'm going to trump you. I reckon I am anyway, but go on.
The worst injury I've ever had, in terms of the most heartbreaking injury I reckon I've ever had, paint a picture. I've left the family home May 2018. From the time you decide you're not going forward together on the journey, the time you actually leave, it's not always the same. I've left May, June. There was July. There was an epic swell down the coast. I'd run my first 2-day workshop with a corporate client. So I bounced out of Engage, gone on a trip. End up, we're not going forward together anymore. Bounce out of the family home. Got to try and find some money. Pay the bills, put food on the table. Do this first workshop. Get through the second day. 20 people in the room facilitating it. And I'm like, there's a swell down the coast. Drive down the coast, and Winky was like firing 6 to 8 foot midweek, Wednesday afternoon. I'm out there. I paddle out, round the button, seeing all these lines come in. There wasn't many guys out. It was perfect. Got one, took off, rode it for so long, about 400 metres on my 6.6 on my taco grinder, paddle back out. Another one comes. I'm at uppers. Another one comes. Somehow I nosedived. Come up, and then all of a sudden, I just hear... And my board is like the leg rope. It's extended out, and it's just come and gone bang. And I'll never forget, I was like, what just hit me? I thought it was like an animal or something.
Is that scar on you?
The scar, so many...
So was it the back of the centre fin or the tail?
Yeah, knocked the fin out.
Yeah, it's going
And the board hit my jaw as well. And like that, the timing of it and the feeling of being alone and the feeling of all of it was like... Now you don't have surfing for a little while.
Yeah.
Fortunately, when it happened, I was taken off the lowers, pretty much. At uppers.
Okay, in front of the staircase.
In front of the staircase,
Yeah.
And I remember feeling concussed. And I looked around. And I was like,
"But you were there.
I've got to get in."
Okay.
And I was just like, "Get in, get to the stairs." Got up to the stairs. There's a lady there. She goes, "You all right?" And I go, "I don't think so. Have a look." And she goes, "Come on, I'll take you up to the car." And I'm like, okay.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I was in lots of shock. Yeah. So
Bit of blood?
Lots of blood.
Yeah. So what, stitches? Would it go right through your
Yeah,
cheek?
I drove to the Torquay Clinic. I don't know. Walked in there and they kind of sat down with me and they said, "We don't think we should do it. You should do it here." Yeah, and I was in shock, and I was just like in shock and alone and afraid. I was so scared. I thought I was going to die.
So surfing by yourself?
Yeah, surfing by myself. Yeah. There's a few other guys that were down at Lowers.
No, just in the car.
Yeah, you end up put him in the car, and I go, "Oh no, I'm all right. And it wasn't. I often drive to the doctors, and then I was just get me home. I just wanted to get home.
Yeah, fully.
Just wanted to get home.
Yeah. So stitches, and then a bit of time out of the water.
And then had to go back to a plastic surgeon because it was kind of like not lining up.
Yeah, right.
And I started making promo films for businesses that I was trying to get off the ground, and mentally I was shot. No wonder. So that was no wonder I ended up taking antidepressants.
Yeah.
You know. So that's probably the worst injury from a everything perspective, and it's not that bad compared to like some injuries people go through.
Yeah, but still to have a fin to the cheek.
Oh, wasn't
in
nice.
The water, having to scramble across that shelf at Winky and up the stairs and to the car park and off to the. But Geelong, did you end up in Geelong?
No, I got it done in Torquay. Ended up going so
drugged
up and out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dark time.
And a scar to prove it.
Yeah, and now I'm like stoked I've got it.
Funny, my worst.
Chicks love tats and scars, right?
Do they though?
I don't know. Some
of them do. My worst injury was I got hit in the mouth by a windsurfer while I was surfing. I broke my jaw in 2 spots.
Oh.
Right in the centre there, but then this one was compound, sticking out the side of my jaw, face down in the water for 10 or 15 minutes. And, well, actually I don't know how long it was for, but a fella pulled me out of the water and anyway, long story short, split my jaw in half, bone out the side of my face. So funny that we've both been hit in the mouth with different types of boards.
Yeah.
But yeah, that rattled me and my jaw by together for 3 months.
What the psychological aspect of it?
Yeah, it's funny, man. I didn't really think about that much. It was more just probably just being scared of going surfing around wind-assisted boards. Still to this day.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I get a bit of Tourette's whenever someone comes down on a wake, whatever they call them, a kite surfer or a windsurfer or any wind-assisted thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen over here, though, that much. You're not really other board activities.
It's true, right? The foils now, but everyone's pretty good.
Yeah. But back in the local beaches of Perth, it was pretty full on. You'd paddle out and there'd be windsurfers whizzing past you. So my own fault. But to answer your question, I was rattled, mate. I was only 15 when it happened. So yeah, I was pretty young.
Yeah.
Jaw white to get drinking through a straw for 3 months wasn't exactly fun. But yeah, it was it was one of those things that happened. My worst injury. I always wondered what that scar was on your face.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt I couldn't deal with it for a while, because it wasn't done properly. It was like on an angle, so it wouldn't heal.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, no, it's healed up. I like it now. It is what it is.
And where's the golf course?
Just down the road. 15 minutes down, 12 minutes down, 11 minutes down the road.
Nice.
It's right in the middle of kind of like Cannabis. Sky Road.
An early morning thing for you though, normally?
Yeah, I like getting up. I like moving in the morning. I like getting up and doing stuff.
Yeah, same. Got to be done. Get up early, start the day fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like I can get so much more stuff done at that time of the day without any interruptions. Other than me interrupting myself. I'm my own worst enemy and day job.
And bells, mate, you guys gave me a bit of a setup with bells, surf wax. It's pretty amazing story behind that.
It is good.
How'd you come across it?
We can talk about me, but I'd rather talk about you. I got a few more questions. How are we going for time? How long have we been chatting for?
Now 30.
Have we?
Jesus.
It's going good. To answer the question, I can't believe so many of my dreams or whatever, you could say, were put on hold because I was like, you know what? Coming out of a long-term relationship, 18 years or something. May 22nd, I remember stuff like this. May 24th just gone was the 22 years ago since I met my baby mama, my kid's mum, my ex-wife, I always remember all those things. I remember people's faces and names too, I made a really conscious decision though that through my experience with Engage Technology Group, going from $2,000 investment and 5 years later doing $27 million worth of sales in terms of annual revenue,
Yeah.
and then selling for $2.5 million, splitting that with Jared, and then bouncing out of a long-term relationship. I was like, okay, there's one thing you've learned. So I was like, with everything that's going to come, because I was like, I'm on my way here, transitioning out of an organisation to follow a different pathway career-wise. And it wasn't just my career that, it was everything got pulled right back to the core.
Yeah.
I had to put all my life back together. So I thought it was important, and this is what I did, is made a really conscious decision. Me first, work can come later.
Yeah.
And it was really hard. I remember putting the bells in the linen cupboard in the first rental I moved in, and like coming up from the car, taking them out of where I was living, coming up the car, putting them in there, putting them away, and thinking to myself, is this ever going to see the light of day? And it was only, you know, some of the teenagers who were popping into the direct messages box on the Instagram account, asking to be sponsored at those times.
Right.
You know, I had my kids obviously, but it was like, there was something on my heart that, like, you know, and there's the Macca twins are in Sydney, and they were like really passionate about the brand, because we did a soft launch in 2018, and Kylie Gulliver came and she organised a bit of a campaign, and we're at Swell Cafe and giving out wax, and so we're about to start going, but then I was about to leave the family home.
Right.
So it was just hard knowing that it's got to wait, and so now we're starting to give it to the attention finally.
Yeah.
You know, and meeting Hannah and the story behind that, and her journey and where she's at, and how well it's all coming, and what we're building, and I don't know.
It's great, dude.
Yeah, it's great. It's a nice connector.
Yeah.
For me, I've always kind of like looked at it as a social enterprise and a way to connect with lots of people, and then a pathway to empower teenagers through Shred for Life. And that came through the kids reaching out on Instagram, wanting to be sponsored, and I'm kind of like, I just can't send you wax. I've got to, you know, that's just my heart. That's just who I am.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And another little idea came out of that, a little bit of merch, and then here we are.
It's great.
Yeah,
Exciting
it's good.
times.
We're getting there. It's good now to be able to give it the attention and resource it. But
Yeah.
I've always the vision was kind of like when Techtify came about, was to use that as, I use that for me and to put into, you know, pay my financial commitments that I've got, and also where there's additional resources to allocate to the other entities to help grow them out.
Yeah.
You know, and Shred for Life really about having a real impact, not just saying we're helping thousands of kids, but having a real direct impact and really being there for kids as they walk through the journey from being a young adult to becoming one, you know.
Yeah, what a great concept.
I think so.
There's more of that now.
I think so.
Yeah.
And if we can all kind of like, you know, have a few kids out around us.
Yeah, like you were saying before about men kind of going into themselves and not feeling amazing, that's going to happen a lot more if we don't keep that connection in community, which is, you know, why clubs and things like Shred for Life are so good for the youth.
Yeah,
you can just
especially
spend
now.
days and days indoors as a kid now and be completely entertained.
I know.
And, you know, I might sound a little bit old school when I say it, but that frustrates the hell out of me. You know, so get them outdoors, get them, you know, rubbing shoulders with like-minded people, or not, just different type people.
Yeah.
Expose them rather than bubble wrapping them up so much.
I know, right?
Is my opinion anyway.
I totally agree.
Yeah, so that's great, man. I can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. It's good, and I'm looking forward to seeing your journey unfold. And now you shared something with me just before we came on.
What's that?
About your guitar playing ability.
Yeah.
And there's a bit of a vault. You've got a bit of a vault in there.
Yeah, I do, mate. I've been writing poems, let's just call them, or music for a long time.
Really?
And now I just want to, at some stage, get the music that I've been creating, because when I'm at home in closed doors, I feel pretty keen on being able to do it, and then it's about getting up in front of people and doing it, which a lot of people are surprised to hear when they talk about me. But yeah, I don't know, I get pretty humbled by my own stuff, and therefore I get a bit self-conscious. But yeah, I have written a lot of music.
What you put on your story today, I listened to it like that. It's so good.
Did you like it?
Yeah. Like,
followers.
You only need one. You only need one.
And I guess that's a good example
You
of
only
how
need one.
I'm not that good at putting that kind of thing up.
Yeah.
That's been sitting there since yesterday when I kind of did that recording. should I, is it any good? And then I just went, put yourself out there, and that's what I'm going to try and do.
Just hang out with me more. It all rubs off.
Yeah.
It's all
Dude,
rubs off.
That's
I promise.
Yeah.
It does. It rubs off.
It's one of those things, just get amongst it, you know?
Yeah. Tell me though, the poems. When did you start writing poems?
Oh, mate, I've always been into art as a kid.
Yeah.
And, you know, then English and English Lit were a couple of my favourite other subjects. And I've always been into music. Like I played the piano from quite a young age, and then played the saxophone of all things. And I got sick of lagging the saxophone to and from school every day. So I gave up music for a while. Surfing and, you know, other things took up my time, and then picked up a guitar. Actually picked up a mate's guitar. I was going around doing some martial arts with him, and he bought a cheap Yamaha acoustic nylon string guitar, and it sat in the corner for 6 months. And I said, "Are you using that?" And he said, "No." I said, "Oh, let me take it home," and started playing guitar. And I've kind of self-taught myself, but with these days YouTube and all the, you know, apps that you've got to access to, I've just continued it. And now we've got a little band going, and got a bass player and a drummer who are just good blokes with no pretentious kind of expectations whatsoever. And we get together, and I'm getting, you know, I've got 25 finished songs ready to go.
Wow.
And probably another 15 to 30 other in the works. And that one yesterday, thank you for telling me you liked it, was literally in my dreams off the dome, and woke up and just hacked away at a few chords and then put some lyrics to it. So I'm glad you like it.
What are your musical influences? I loved it. I was like...
man, it's an open can of worms what you just asked me. At an early age, it was, you know, Doors, Rolling Stones, Chisel, those kind of bands, and then it evolved into punk and hip hop and grunge with, you know, Nirvana's rise to fame, which was an incredible album introduced by a mate I used to skateboard with. And I just got into a lot of hip hop for a while. I love my reggae. There's not a lot of genres I don't listen to.
Good music's good music,
as
right?
in the mainstream, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah. I don't know what is the biggest influence, but mate, I was into Slayer. I still am. I still love Slayer. On my own in the car. There's music I play that
Dude.
I don't want to play to anyone else. I just want to play it for me. Like Slayer will be and remain one of my all-time bands. I fucking love Slayer, but I can't play Slayer, and I don't want to play Slayer.
Yeah.
But man, I've amped off my face on that music, pre-surf and after surf, and on my own for long drives. It's good driving music, Slayer, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's a song, there's a sick song, a Slayer song. So I never bought any Slayer albums or downloaded any Slayer albums or bought them off iTunes or had the CDs or the records. Yeah. Or the cassettes back in the day.
Just don't listen to the lyrics for too long. That's my biggest advice with Slayer, because it's not very positive.
No one can, I get it. I know you kind of hook into the riffs, don't you, and the way that music makes you feel and the energy it provides. And
energy.
Exactly. The energy.
Yeah.
I find so I've written a few poems in my time. I kind of like used to always write.
Okay.
More love letters to the girls, to be honest.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't know, just made it was easier to express myself that way.
Yeah.
There's lots of them, but I found it easier to write. Let's make that into music.
Yeah, you should. You've got a guitar up there, I just saw.
Yeah, I can't play though. That's a limiting belief.
Everyone can play.
Yeah, it's hard though.
It is hard. You do a lot of hard things. I find with the music in general, whether it be listening to it or playing it or playing my own stuff or going to a live gig, I just have that same feeling as surfing, where it just completely switches me off and removes me from, you know, reality of all those stresses that you described before. Can we always be friends, I think.
Does it switch you off, or does it put you in the moment that you're in there?
Yeah, it switches me off from all those things and puts me in the moment.
Put you in the moment, right? Yeah, that's why. Sure. Yeah, those things that put us into the moment.
Totally. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully, mate, maybe that's another time to.
I'd love
bring a song along.
If you wanted to come down here and jam and play one night,
we will get that skateboard ramp going, and
that would be great.
It'd be a great.
Hey, that sounds like a great night.
Yeah, Barefoot Bros. That's the band. We'll be down to see.
So follow on Instagram. What is it?
Barefoot Bros.
I like it. Barefoot Bruz.
Yeah.
I like it.
BRUZ.
BRUZ. So barefoot_Bruz. Or all one word.
Just at Barefoot Bruz.
Can someone put that on here?
Um,
Like, can they do that?
Get a couple of followers going at least. Yeah, we'll hopefully gig soon. The boys that I play with are already in bands and they're really keen to push me out in front of everyone. And I think I'm probably the one that's holding that back. So hopefully that'll change, mate. You know, it's just time as well, Brent. You know, what do you put and which cup do you put at the priority?
Time
That's
and
the big
timing.
thing, you know, time and timing, 100%. Couldn't have said it better
Time
myself.
and timing.
Yeah, totally. Same as set and setting. Going back to smoking weed, you got to be in the right set mindset, and you got to be in the right setting around you. Otherwise, don't do it.
Think
Same
about
thing.
that as a frame for anything
Yeah.
in life. Are you in the right set?
Yeah.
I'm big on you can say yes to a lot of things, a lot of options, a lot of availability. It's what you say no to in life. I
Yeah.
think ultimately determines your fate.
Yeah,
you know.
totally.
And I got good at saying no.
Yeah. But often a lot of that's timing, like you're saying,
I know.
That's also timing as well.
I know. And what I'd say about that, you know when you know, or it's that nagging thing. Just it's like, and it won't go away.
Yeah.
It'll never go away.
Yeah.
It'll have to come out at some point. Belief.
Yeah, I agree. And when I was talking about timing, I was also talking about timing of things that are happening for a time, and when you actually grab a hold of that at that very moment or not. It's just timing, man. It's so important. Just like surfing, keeping that flow, timing, which is a hard thing to perfect on all levels and get right.
Mate, it's been loved having you down.
Yeah, likewise. It's been good, mate.
It's been really good.
Crazy setting.
I know. I'm kind of tripping a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like I could talk for a lot longer.
Let's do another one.
100%. Good to see you.
Yeah, likewise.
Thanks for making it such a...
Mate, thank you.
That's it.
That's what we're doing?
I think so.
Okay.